Okay, I'm Ashley Black, and this is The Practice. And today I'm going to just be showing you some really quick ways to recover your fascia, make sure that the lymphatic system is flowing. And this is just something that you can do with no tools, and you can just do this right in your bedroom. So the first little tiny piece of education is that when fascia is tight, it kind of sucks in like a space bag. So we're usually tight all around. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is so simple. It's skin rolling, the pinch technique. There's many, many people that have done this throughout history. But what's great is if you can create that space, you're going to create blood flow, you're going to create lymphatic flow, and you're going to give your fascia a little bit of stretch. Okay, so I like to go in with as much hand as possible. And all we're going to be doing is just grabbing and pulling and kind of rolling, almost like doing like little waves, okay? And some people I have found like you can't even grab their skin. So that tells you that you're really, really tight. And if that becomes the case, you just have to get even more of this skin. So think of it like grabbing the top layer of a pizza and like pulling it up and stretching that cheese. That's what we're doing, like all the way down to the bone. We're gonna be giving some expansion to our fascia by pulling and rolling, okay? And it actually feels really good to me. I have pretty decent fascia. But some people tell me that this burns. Some people tell me that it just feels like it's numb. So any of those symptoms, like anything that doesn't feel like yummy, it probably means that you have a fascia dysfunction and you really need to do this. Or you need to buy my tools. It's easier with the tools, I will tell you that. But we're just gonna, again, the goal is thinking about our body in 360 degrees. A 3D crystalline matrix, that's what the fascia is. And we're just gonna try to expand it as much as possible, okay? And it doesn't take long. Like I literally sitting here feel almost like a tingle down this side where this feels like a little dead. So it's pretty easy to stimulate fascia. One thing too I will tell you about fascia is that we already know, we really have great science about how to, like I'm just stretching the tissue right now. But to regenerate the tissue, there's actually 3 mechanical pressures that need to be applied. And that's load, okay, so pushing, stretch, which is like what we're doing right now, and then shearing. And that means that we need to take our fingers or an instrument between the muscle fibers and shear them apart. Those 3 mechanisms stimulate the 2 cells that regenerate the tissue. And that is your fibroblast, which everyone knows about the fibroblast. If you want to increase collagen production, all that, everybody talks about the fibroblast. But that is for, I just call it the stuff, right? So that's for the proteins, that's for your GACs, that's for collagen, that's for ground substance, things like that. But what is so important, and if you're hearing about fascia, a lot of people are starting to talk about it being dehydrated or not gliding. And that is because of that there's an actual second cell that is a part of creating this connective tissue, and that is the fasciocyte. And we used to think everything spewed out of the fibroblast, but now we know that the hyaluronic acid comes out of the fasciocyte. And it's important because the fibroblast is set off by load and stretch, but the hyaluronic acid comes from that shear. So it's like those 3 together is super important. That's what I built into the tools, but you could also do that with hands, okay? So it's all about like how easy do you want it to be? Okay, so I don't know how many minutes that was, but I feel amazing on my legs. I'm just gonna move on to the arms. Even done on a micro level, feels incredible on the hands like this. We're literally just pulling up the skin and kind of rolling it or just really, really pulling it and shaking it. And again, it's just to create space in these compartments. And the more you can pinch little like that, the better your fascia is. In my book, I write about the 5 P's, and it's the pinch, poke, pull, perception, posture. And so this would be the pull test, that we're seeing how tight our fascia is down to the bone. People think that like this means that we're fat if we're able to do that, but that is not the case. Muscle and in between each individual muscle fiber should be able to expand. And that gives us healthy fascia. Okay. So we just keep going with this pulling. I can tell I've been surfing. Look, I can't pinch. See how like when I grab it, it's like an inch apart? And that feels really hard right there. So this is something I need to work on over the next couple of weeks, because you should be able to like pinch it tiny. Okay. And again, it's really important to do it all. The fascia is one system. If we could remove it out of the body, like it would be impossible to dissect it. But if we could, we would look like a human figure just like completely filled with cotton candy. Isn't that cool? So when we treating it as a system is super important. Like I always tell people, you know, like in your fascia practice, if you can, you know, like maybe do a little bit 5 days a week, and 3 days you could really focus on like my knees or my low back. But the other 2 days, it's really better to do the full system. Okay, and you can do this skin pulling everywhere on the body. Like I'm showing you the chest. We could do it on the neck. And what's great about fascia is you don't really have to worry. You know how like in lymphatic drainage, it's like up, out, you know, with muscles, there's, you know, let's push the blood towards the heart and all that. We don't have any of that with fascia. Fascia is just all about creating space and creating bodily flow. So the fascia, it's not just the collagen fibers. They're, I love the word light pipes, but they are fluid filled. So it is a fluid system, and all the other fluid systems are housed within it. So like when you do your fascia, you sort of get all of it, which is nice. You get the lymphatic flow, you get the blood flow. And we're even gonna do our first. It's so funny, like I'm tight on this side of the jaw. Too much talking. And we can do our brow. We can even pull the fascia of the ears. It feels so good. All around the belly. But yeah, that is it, guys. Just a nice little pull. And I'll be honest with you, I sit here and I feel a little bit like electrified. And that's exactly what you want to feel, because the fascia is the piezoelectric system of the body, and when it fires up, you feel kind of fired up. So what I would say is I did this kind of slow, if y'all notice, you know, like slow pulls and slow rolls. And that's because this is going to put us into our rest and digest nervous system. So if you want to do some sort of fascia warm up pre-workout, do the same thing, just do it like quicker, like this. Because that way we'll stay in our sort of heightened nervous system and we'll be ready for performance. And that's what all the data shows anyways, that we get more muscle output when we do some sort of fascia warming up. So basically it's this simple. Pre-workout, do it fast. Post-workout, do it slow. And that's it. That's a wrap from Ashley Black.